Scout or Infiltrator. These two classes have been gaining popularity recently, and I expect that after this week's update, this is just going to increase, because with the nerf to the gap closers, I expect more people will be playing bow as DPS. In this video, I want to show you, or I want to share with you my opinion about these two classes, as I have been playing them for a while. In fact, Infiltrator was my first class in the game until I rerolled into Dark Blighter back in November or so. So, what is this about? The Scout. For me, the Scout is about mobility. The crossbow has a lot of mobility tools. We have a lot of movement speed, either from the masteries, or from active skills like Wing Snatcher, or from passive like Detection, or also not just related to movement speed, but to mobility itself, like Nimble Leaf. We are dashing away all the time. We have the block in the crossbow pushing people away, so detection is, well, tactical detection is actually pushing people away as well, so it's all about moving. Yeah, we have damage, but for me, the main priority is moving. And we do the damage while we are moving. By contrast, Infiltrator is more like static. It's more like a sniper. You pick a position, aim your shot, load your decisive sniping, and bam! Kill or not. If you did not, you finish with strafing and Zephyr. Some people also use the dagger's DPS skill as finishers. For me, I prefer to not use that. In fact, the only dagger skills I'm using as Infiltrator are the smoke, the thunderclouds, and invisibility. I'm not even using Shadow Strike because I don't want to get into the range. Even though I have the specialization to return back, I'm not using any other dagger skill that will benefit me from getting into melee range. I'm not using ankle strike, I don't need anything like that. I prefer to focus in the bow skills. So for me, Infiltrator, is, as I was saying, is more like a sniper. You pick a position, kill, and move away. But you don't have the mobility of the scout. It's more static. Yeah, you have invisibility to reposition yourself to other places. But what's the problem? If people have an neuron or two, they will just hit you when you are invisible. You have a lot of skills for dealing with that. For example, speaking about a scout or infiltrator, we have flash arrow, or with the crossbow we also have multi-shot. So basically I think every weapon has some tool to deal with invisible people. So yeah, invisible is, or the steal skill is great, but it's not a mobility skill. It's not like a scout that you are constantly moving. By contrast, as we use dagger, we have a lot of crit and a lot of critical damage. So this lack of mobility is compensated by this incredible amount of damage. That's why I say it's more like a sniper, because you almost certainly has a guaranteed kill with every time you pick a target, as long as you are picking the right target. Of course, if you are loading everything into a tanky healer or a tank, forget about that. But if you are picking your right targets, it's doing a lot of damage. In fact, most recently I have been playing mostly Infiltrator in ranked battlegrounds, because I think it's giving me better results than Scout. Why? Because, as I was saying earlier, Scout is about mobility, but the problem is that all the spaces in the battleground are so narrow that, yeah, it doesn't matter your mobility, because you are always in, let's say, close range, close to mid range. You are never keeping your distance unless you are a, you know, a pigeon on the roof, which will be good for infiltrator but not good for scout. So basically this is it. This is the summary of this video. For me, scout is about mobility and some damage. Infiltrator is about huge damage but less mobility. What will be the best for each class? Well, I think for Infiltrator the best is to boost your critical damage and your heavy attack, because with the daggers you can allow to have a very huge number of on those stats. Basically just keep your 4 pieces of Blood Hunter, for example the flash fire glove, just boost hit, critical and heavy attack, and that's a very good build. For Scout, the best, as I have said multiple times, the best will be to focus into bonus damage. But if you want to play bonus damage, you need to pick the heroic crossbow. And for me, I don't want to do that. I want to have the heroic longbow because it's the weapon I'm sharing between Infiltrator and Scout. So as Scout, I'm also playing with crit. It's not the most efficient. It will be far better if I was using bonus damage for PvP, for PvE. Remember that it's not, you have a recent video about that. But for PvP, it will be much better if I was playing with bonus damage. But I prefer to keep things versatile, and I'm basically using the same items between the two classes. The heroic bow, and then the 4 pieces Blood Hunter, and just swap the other weapon, either the dagger or the crossbow. Thanks for watching. Give these classes a try now. They are going to be kind of meta because they are really fun. Thanks for watching again, and see you in the next one.